Welcome to Twin Tarot. I'm David,
I'm Gary.
and today we are going to talk about,
We're going to talk about the mainstream media, which
or is it corporate media?
the corporate media is probably a better
Yeah,
description
it
of
seems to
what
be a
this is.
better adjective to describe them these days.
Yeah, so um, the reason why we're talking about this, I'm getting a lot of feedback in the comments about people's dissatisfaction with corporate media. And a lot of this has really kind of come to a head recently with the Biden speech. And basically how Biden's been treated very poorly by the press, and a lot of our viewers are seeing the double standard. The standard that the Democrats are being held to versus what the Republicans are being held to. And where's the media outrage about you've got a convicted felon with 34 counts against him, and no one's challenging his suitability for running, but you have a president that's a couple years older that stutters a little bit and had a bad debate performance. All of a sudden, everyone's all over his shit for him being too old and incapable. Even though if you look at what he's done the last 3.5 years, this guy has done what he's done is nothing short of a miracle for how well he has done.
Exactly.
And a lot of our viewers are just fed up with the mainstream, with corporate media or mainstream media, and they're turning to other sources. They're looking at Midas Touch, which honestly, the Midas Touch is a little bit left leaning. I can understand that. I would prefer Midas Touch if they would tone down some of the adjectives that they use, but for the most part, they do very good investigative reporting, and it's hard to fault them. There's a group of people that look at Beau of the Fifth Column, who I really appreciate Beau because he's very matter of fact. It's not fire and brimstone coming out of his mouth. So Republicans can step out of their current echo chamber and watch him, and he can plant the seeds and then let them go back to their echo chamber and see if those seeds actually grow.
Yeah.
And then there's people who watch us, which, I don't know if we're a great source of news and information, but hey, you know what? At least we're going to give it to you as straight as we can. We've got our own biases. We're humans. We're going to have a bias. When I read my cards, I try really, really, really hard to be objective and not overlay my personal hopes, wishes, and dreams on the cards. But the fact of the matter is, it's going to come out a little bit. So I try to at least be as transparent as I can about it.
I don't read reversals, so therefore it's totally dependent on my biases. Trump does not get the upright cards very much. Why? Because he's a low energy, self-centered, self-absorbed pile of human offal. And why would I give him the same cards I might give a really enlightened person? Because if the coin was the charity card, the Six of Coins, being charitable and donating. For Trump, I'm going to focus on how much money he has and how little he gives, to the point where he's not even allowed to own a charity because he ripped off his own darn charity. You're stealing. I think he collected money for kids with cancer. He stole money from kids with cancer. Do you get any lower?
Oh, no, he could have taken their trip to Disney World away from him too, right?
Jeez. Anyway. So
I don't want you to get an ulcer, so I don't want you to hold anything in. So please let it out freely. Don't feel like you need to.
Thank you for that permission. I do have that ability to sort of keep it all inside.
I never know how you feel.
Yeah, short sleeves there to wear it out. All right, let's look at the future. Let's look at the energy around the future of the media. What's going on with the media here? Entertainment purposes only. Queen of Pentacles. They're protecting the almighty buck. And here's the thing. With the media, you got the Queen of Pentacles. They'll tell you what's of value. The media has been perverted and corrupted. They're not reporting the news anymore. They're like a 24/7 editorial page that is basically presented as news.
It's like more of an op-ed.
Yeah, it's like the Fox opinion hosts. They call it Fox News, then they put the opinion hosts on there. They're the most watched thing on it. And to them, it's like, well, this is just the pragmatic way it's going to be. We're going to tell you what's valuable, and you're going to listen because, it's our news, and we sell to our advertisers. Underneath it all, the Seven of Wands, they're under some assault, but they're able to beat it back for the moment, likely due to the fairness doctrine that got overturned in the 80s, which spawned people like Rush Limbaugh and other right-wing media, other media sources that don't have to report facts, much less report on the other side's opinion on things. In the past, you have the Six of Cups. There is this lovely naivety. Let's go back to William Randolph Hearst, shall we, with yellow journalism. There's this lovely naivety that the reporters and the newspapers facts, just the facts, ma'am. Jack Webb, Jack Webb from just the facts, ma'am. We trust the media is going to tell us the facts. We trust that it's not going to be propaganda. Russia has TASS, the state-run media, which feeds them propaganda 24/7. If that's your only news source, you're going to believe it, and you're a foolish person for believing that. Right now, the sun's been exposed. The truth's been exposed on the media. They have an agenda, and it's really obvious for folks to see that they have an agenda because they are not grading the two presidential candidates on the same grade curve.
No,
not even close. Biden has one debate, and he needs to be, removed from office, 25th Amendment and all that. Trump lies 30,000 times or something like that in the 4 years that he was president. Nobody cares. It's ridiculous. Overarching energy is the Six of Wands. Right now, the mainstream media, there's no holding them back. They present what they want to present. They're almost acting like they're the kingmaker. And in some ways they are. They run the polls. And right now, the polls could be something like 60-40 Biden, but they'll say it's 52-48 Trump because that gets people tuning in to their shows and keeping the ratings up, which sells advertising spaces, which makes them a bunch of money. But right now, they seem to be all getting behind Trump because, well, Trump's good for business, and they'll make more money with Trump. The lesson to be learned is the hangman. They're their own freaking worst enemy by doing this, though. They are so short-sighted. The media thinks they can control Trump. They can't. The media it's funny. It's like its own government. It's like a stateless actor. They can report on things and influence how people think, just like a government can do. And in some ways, they can be as powerful as governments, but they're going to do it to their own detriment because there are regulations you can put in place to throttle this and bring things back. Yeah, in the end, they're going to be their own worst enemy in this case. It has everything to do with how they treated Biden. Imagine if Biden is reelected and he's still smarting from that George Stephanopoulos and Lester Holt interviews. And he's waking up to what's going on. Well, the media is not treating people very fairly, is it? And we can't expect them to do it, so maybe I need to do something about that. Because he's seeing the truth as to what happened. And the only person who's going to be able to fix it now is him in Congress. And who's to blame? The media did it to themselves. If they were fair and balanced, like Fox has as their tagline for their news.
No, you got to be kidding me.
I swear to God, that is their tagline. Fair and balanced. Yeah, no, you watched, before we started this twin channel, you told me that you, as a way to just sort of understand the right point of view on things, you watched Fox News or Fox Entertainment.
Oh, yeah. I think I went to their website. I don't think I actually watched the live. I went to their website to go see what they were saying. I couldn't last like 5 minutes on that site. It was just like, oh my. What was most telling was when they were describing the Gaza war. I think that's what I was talking to you about. where if you go to Fox News, it's all the protests are these radical students protesting. These anti-Semitic radical students hold stage protests against Israel, and then if you go to like MSNBC, it's student protests to support the Palestinians. And if you go to BBC or AP News, it's just like student protests the Israeli Gaza or the Israeli Palestinian war. And so you could tell what site you were on just by what adjectives that were being used, or lack of adjectives.
Absolutely. And the stronger, more hyperbolic the adjectives, the more clicks you get.
Yep. Get more people outraged. Because we need outrage to get that money. I was surprised there were no pentacles in that.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it?
So I'm going to throw as well. Do you want me to throw on the same thing, or do you want me to throw on like the consequence, the post-election consequences of
That's what I would throw on. What are the post-election consequences going to be?
Okay, for entertainment purposes only.
I promise to be entertained.
Yes. What are the post-election consequences of the mainstream media doing this? Okay. So we've got the Three of Cups. There's some celebrations going on. Woo!
Yeah, we were behind Biden the whole time. Yeah, we loved you, really, we did. I mean, it's the ultimate sycophant card, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's exactly kind of how I was taking that. It's like, yeah, they're celebrating. Woo! Look, Biden's won the presidency. Yay! Underlying energy. So it's crossed with the death card. So,
it's funny. It was funny when you threw that down. I was going to have the card. The cups are up. Hooray! I was literally going to say, "Hooray! The king is dead. Long live the king!" And that's really what the death card is.
It is, because the king's right there.
Long live the king.
Yeah. So and the underlying energy. You're gonna like this.
Let me guess. Double card.
King of Cups.
Oh no! Oh no! Yeah, somebody's gonna have a really fun time.
Emperor Biden is not pleased with the mainstream media.
My apologies, since I have not watched your video on is Biden keeping score. But would that align with your video? Is Biden keeping score?
No, I think in mine. And the adjective I kept looking for was statesman. I didn't come up with. I felt that he was too much of a statesman to actually come out and say it. But I think it's one of those forgive but not forget moments.
Yeah.
And what I was drawing on was his pick for vice president was Kamala Harris, and he wasn't very happy with her after the debates and the run up to the nomination. But when he was looking for a running mate, that was one of the things that he wrote was don't hold grudges. And I think that was to remind him that Kamala Harris could be a very good running mate. Don't be angry at her for what was said during the run up to the nomination.
You're talking the 2020. You're talking the 2020 election with that.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So, that was kind of my feelings, that he wouldn't seek revenge or retribution the way the Orange Terror would, for example.
Yeah. Can you imagine though if Kamala is protective of Joe Biden? Let's say she's protective, like, oh, you did not just go after him.
Yeah.
in a very sharp black woman sort of way.
Yes.
Can you imagine say, Kamala, would you like to draft up new guidances and guidelines for the media?
Now, the rumor has been about Kamala is that she's very difficult to work with. She's a former prosecutor, and that was kind of the news out of the prosecutor's office out here in the Bay Area, was that she was kind of a tough person to work with. Yeah, I don't think you want to cross that woman. Oh no, I think she could make your life really miserable. Yeah, I think there's a real King of Swords in that girl. So yeah, we've got the King of Cups, which we if you don't watch us very often, this is kind of the Joe Biden card.
Yeah.
Underneath it all is the Biden card. I think a lot of our viewers are really, really upset with corporate mainstream media on how they've been treating Biden.
Yeah, I agree.
And so in the past,
what do we got?
In the past, we had the hermit card. The news, they would shine a light and they would look down and they would follow the story where it led. They weren't telling us what we needed to think. They were trying to find out what the facts were. Actual journalism.
Yeah.
And
on a short-term thing, I would also say Biden also found out.
Yes. It's like the Tom Petty song, Running Down a Dream, going wherever it leads. They're going to follow the clues wherever it leads. The current energy, 6 of Swords. So the consequences of their actions. I think people are starting to move away from the clickbait and the sensationalism of mainstream media, and they're trying to find a calmer place. They're trying to go. They want to go somewhere different, and that's going to be a consequence. People, and like I said, we're seeing it in our comments now. People are unsubscribing from some of these news agencies, including MSNBC, which is a very left-leaning news agency. Which, let's face it, a lot of our viewers are going to be leaning left, and so that's an interesting one that they would actually be upset with. But
I think the other thing is that MSNBC has been doing reporting and opinion pieces that don't feel very left-leaning. So,
yeah,
they're owned by very wealthy conservative people.
Yes, who like to keep their money and therefore probably are totally okay with Trump being in office because A, they're not going to be taxed, and B, it's going to create all sorts of revenue opportunity from all the outrage that he generates just all on his own.
Yep.
Okay, the overarching energy, the motivations we see.
Yes.
The Knight of Cups. Okay.
Fair and balanced.
Yes. So the Knight of Cups, it's kind of a contemplative. It's not a fast card. It's, you've got your emotions and, it's like, okay, well, we did what we needed to do. And it's kind of almost like extending that olive branch. It's like, no hard feelings. This is what we need. We're news agencies. This is what we need to do. And you got to understand, you can't get emotional about this. This is business.
Gary, are you familiar with Johnny from Tara's Apprentice?
I am not.
Okay. This is Johnny's term he coined for the Knight of Cups, the false friend. Which is pretty much what you were describing, right?
Yeah, that really is it. I mean, it's no hard feelings. Just, it's like the mafia. It's just business.
No hard feelings. The fact that we told you to resign and that you were senile, no consequences, right? It's all good, all in good fun.
The lesson to be learned. 9 of Wands. There's lots of battles, lots of injuries. Probably more battle, at least one more battle to come. People are tired of this. They're tired of the constant negativity that they've been subjected to, especially post speech with Biden. They're tired of what the corporate media has been doing to them, and they're fed up. And the outcome. 5 of Cups, sorrow. I think the outcome is people are really sad that their mainstream media has done this, corporate media has done this to them. It has not been fair and balanced. They have not treated Biden well. And I think corporate media is going to realize that they're going to lose their audience permanently. Like I said, I'm trying to be objective about this, and I certainly have my own personal biases. But reading the temperature in the room and from the comment sections, and granted, it's a very small subset and maybe not a great cross section of
Yeah.
society.
It's heavily biased, yes.
Certainly, but there's a lot of people that are just frankly fed up. I don't watch CNN at all because I just don't trust them at all. I mean, these aren't the days of James Earl Jones, right?
Yeah. CNN, boom,
And
boom.
it's if I go to look for news now, I go to AP. I watch Bo. I go to AP. I'll go to BBC.
Yeah.
Because they don't tell me what to think. They just tell me what's happening, and then I can research and come up to my own conclusions. And I think a lot of people are coming to that same end game.
But like when you had that Nine of Wands in there, it's almost like, yeah, the Nine of Wands. I think you had that as your lesson to be learned.
No, the Nine of. No, sorry. I thought you said Knight of Wands. You said the Nine of Wands.
Nine. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
The Nueve. It's like, you kind of dodged the media, and we dodged a bullet this time with this election.
Yeah.
Assuming that this is with the assumption that Biden is reelected.
Yes, I like that assumption. I'm willing to run with that.
Yeah, but can you trust him on the next time? Because there's always going to be a next time. Can you trust him? Because they didn't do the right thing this time when it really, really mattered. How in God's name can you trust him to do the right thing in the future? Which is why you've got that disappointment card there. It's like, hey, we count on a free and fair media to keep this country and this democracy rolling. And if you're not being fair, then you're traitors to the country and the idealism of democracy.
I'd say even if, regardless of how the election turns out, I think there are so many people on the left that are so disappointed with how Biden's been treated that they're already walking away. It doesn't matter how the election ends up. It's, you guys are terrible, and I'm done with you.
Yeah.
I mean, we did a informal poll on one of our previous videos where everyone picked a finger to show me.
I know what finger I pick.
Yeah, if they supported corporate mainstream media or not. I support, or you can pick a different finger if you want, if you don't support them. And then they hold it up to your camera on your computer on the count of 3. And
I remember that.
Oh my goodness, my virgin eyes. I've never seen. If Mom was there, she'd have to go get a warehouse full of wooden spoons. It was so shocking.
Yeah, I want you to know that Miss Marianne was looking at you in her magic mirror when you did that.
Our oldest sister was on Romper Room when we were little. I think by the time Mom got around to having us, she just didn't have that sort of free time anymore. You want to throw anything more on this?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, Dave's been a real trooper, but I know he's not feeling too good. So we're just going to kind of limit this for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. We really appreciate it. I go through as many comments as I can to respond and let you know that I read them. And I use your comments to come up with ideas for future readings. So please keep them coming.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll catch you on the next video.
Have a wonderful day.
All right, take care.
Bye.